In this video, I'm going to show you how to mix colors using acrylic paint. First, you need to prepare your paint palette. You'll want to apply a small amount, no bigger than the size of a dime, of red, yellow, and blue, the primary colors, plus some white in the middle. Write your name on your plate. This will be your plate for the duration of this project. When setting up your paint palette, follow the directions on your worksheet. You want your colors to create a triangle so that you have space in between them to do your color mixing. When painting with acrylics, you want to thin your paint with water to help it flow more easily off your paintbrush onto the surface of your painting. I dip my paintbrush into water and then drag a little bit of the paint color I'm using into the area next to it and then start painting with it. Paint your primary colors first, just so you can practice painting inside the lines of the circles. It takes practice to gain good control with your paintbrush, but the best tip is to roll your bristles to a point before painting. What I do is I dip my paintbrush into the water, I'm going to grab some blue paint, and watch how I roll the bristles of my brush to get it to a point. Then I place my brush down and I slowly and carefully drag it to start to outline the space that I want to fill in with the blue paint. As you practice, you'll feel more and more confident using your paintbrush. If you take a look at how I'm holding the paintbrush, you can see that I'm holding it similarly to how I would hold a pencil. My hand is holding the brush down close to the bristle so that I have control over it, but my grip on the paintbrush is more loose than how I would hold a pencil. Also notice how I hold my paintbrush at an angle, never straight up and down. This is another big difference between painting and drawing with pencil. Now that I'm finished painting in all of my primary colors, I'm ready to start mixing the secondary colors, orange, green, and violet. Between every color of paint I use, I always rinse my brush well. This way, I don't contaminate my primary colors on my paint palette. The first color I'm going to mix is orange. I'll take some yellow and put it between the yellow and red on my paint palette. I'll rinse my brush and then I'll grab a small amount of red paint. Since yellow is lighter than red, I'm going to mix more yellow and less red together to create my orange. As I mix my paint up, I realize I still need a little more yellow. So I'll rinse my brush again, grab some more yellow, and mix it in. When you add white to any color, you lighten it and create a tint. With a clean brush, you'll want to mix some white into a small amount of your color of paint. Don't mix the white into all of the paint like you just saw happen, because then now we have no regular orange. Instead, what you want to do is mix your white into just a small amount of your paint. See how now I have regular orange and I have light orange on my paint palette. Try to understand that it's really challenging to mix perfect violet, greens, and oranges using just the primary colors. This is because some colors like red can be both warm and have cool undertones as well. And so if your purples and greens and oranges don't look exactly how you're used to, and you know that you're doing everything right, just realize that that's probably the best it's going to look. One last tip. If your paint ever starts to dry out, give it one spray with the water spray bottle, and that should help just soften it up while you're working. Overnight in between classes, we're going to keep your palette plate inside of a zipped Ziploc bag, and you're going to return to that same plate next class. Keeping your palette clean and organized will not only help you have control over your paint and your painting, but it'll help you waste a lot less paint. To clean up with acrylic paint, you need to make sure you wash your brushes extremely well. Once dry, acrylic paint is permanent. Your paintbrushes should always be cleaned and then placed bristles up into their cups. Look what happens when the brushes are not placed bristles up. You want your bristles straight up so that they can dry and keep their nice point. Turn on the water slowly. If acrylic paint splatters on your clothing, it can also stain. Wash your brush under the water using both hands. Spin the brush in the palm of the hand that you're not holding the paintbrush with. This will help loosen up any paint that is on the paintbrush. When you're confident that the paintbrush is completely clean, then you can return it bristles up to its cup. Finally, it's always a good idea to have paper towels handy and to work on newspaper when painting. And wearing an apron with acrylic paint is definitely recommended.